Hello and welcome back. Hoping all of you are doing well. Today, a little bit about worldwide fakes, reprints, and other oddities. A few examples. Let's get started. A two-page stamp lot with mostly forgeries, reprints, and some genuine stamps, etc. Just to clarify, forgeries are usually of two possibilities. Number one, to hurt the stamp community and are typically worthless. Or number two, postal forgeries to cheat the postal system. These, however, can have values from just a few dollars to 3 and 4 digit amounts. Yes, quite a substantial amount of money, some of these. For example, I don't have any here, but if you check out some of the postal forgeries of early Austria, specifically Lombardy and Venetia, they are quite expensive. So maybe you want to check to see if you have any. Okay. A somewhat similar situation exists with reprints, privately done, mostly worthless. Done by the postal authorities can range from low to higher values. For myself, I am by no means a forgery expert, but having been around stamps long enough to smell a rat when I see one. Nearly all items on this page appear to be fakes and facsimiles. Facsimiles predominantly appear at the very top of the Confederate States of America, but also these and a whole bunch more, most of them. On a positive note, however, they are still useful, perhaps as reference material. This, the second page, has more appeal, but here the condition is somewhat mixed on some of the stamps. The following are only a few examples of sound keepers. And this one down here really caught my eye and interest because I am familiar with what I'm looking at. And so that definitely helps. We'll get into that a little bit later. Austria. These first four stamps were issued in 1870 by a private telegraph company. In 1873, the remainders were invalidated with a horizontal black line, as you can see here. The catalog value, by the way, on these is fairly low, under $10 for these four. Austria, another telegraph stamp issue from 1873. Very important. The cancellation, whether it's pen or postal. Secondly, there are numerous perf differences. Be very careful before you may get rid of these, since catalog values vary from a couple of bucks to over $2,000 each. For mint, even more. A specimen, which we sometimes see, well, not frequently, but somewhat frequently, they only cost, surprisingly, a couple of bucks. So don't be fooled when it says specimen that they are extra valuable. They're not. They're much, 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 much less than the without the specimen overprint. Belgium, also telegraph stamps. The left two with an 8-sided or octagon cancel, and the third stamp with a typically better CDS, circular date cancel, postal cancel. The postal cancel here on this 80 centime is always better in the reference material that I have over the actual telegraph cancel. 1871 issue has a solid background. The other issues, all of them, these three, and it's hard to see on the scan because the lined background, the lines are very fine and very close together. But anyways, these are of 1871 issue. Excuse me. Yes, 1871. Boy, I gotta watch my old feeble mind. Okay. The reference I had for these was a 1992, so very, very old Western Europe Michel catalog. And these values given up here are basically kind of converted and roughly depicting maybe what it could be today. So nothing to write home about, but there are some values of these that do fetch also a pretty decent price. So be careful, check them out closely. Germany, Bavaria, also telegraph stamps of 1876. The third and last of two rather expensive previous issues. These four in mint not hinged catalog only $7. The previous issues, either one, is substantial. So one of the predominant differences is maybe a slight design difference, but they all typically look alike. But the watermark. Watermarks are critical in this particular issue. The watermark on this one, gives it the cheap set. Great Britain, issues of 1876, mint hinged, plate number 1, and also of 1876, used, plate number 5. And Jamaica, for that I have no reference at the moment. But as you can see, approximately $5 for the mint and $12 for the used Great Britain. And these I found in a Great Britain Queen Victoria specialized catalog, which is also a few years old. But superb reference because whatever you want to know about Queen Victoria, which I think is a really interesting area, you will in all likelihood find in that particular catalog. If you see one for cheap or, depends, maybe consider buying it. if you do collect Great Britain, all parts of it. Puerto Rico on the left. This 4 millions War-Tex stamp of 1898 is not listed. I'm talking the 4 mils right here. French colonies in perforation 13.5 by 14, these two issues in the middle, and Italy state of Parma of 1859, question mark. The actual stamps were issued in 1859, but who knows when all of these and all of them here are forgeries when they were produced. Yeah, all forgeries. They look good. Oh, yes, they do. And we can get fooled very easily. I have. So no one is exempt unless you're an absolute specialist in all these areas. And I'm not. But, anyways, I just want to share this with you. And Cape of Good Hope with no watermark or laid paper. Well, the problem here is, yes, the stamps in wove paper either have to have a watermark, and all of these are in wove paper, and they do not have a watermark. Now, there is a set of unwatermarked triangles such as these, and these really look very convincing in a way. Those without the watermark are supposed to be on laid paper, and none of these have laid paper. So, conclusion, yes, fakes. The whole page again here. Just like the British Columbia stamp, which I believe just looking at it, a stamp collector will realize, that thing does not look correct, does it? No, it doesn't. Color and maybe some minor detail in the design and so on, as well as the straight settlement stamp on the right here. Look at the perforation, and it doesn't exist. The color, the paper color, nothing looks right. So these kind of, in my opinion at least, stick out like a sore thumb. So beware, don't be fooled, look closely, and don't get stuck with spending good money for stuff like this. Germany, Hamburg, cut squares. Could be reprints. Colors with grayish tinge indicate that they could be reprints. These do have a grayish tinge. Or fakes. Originals of these are much more color intense. Look how pale, for example, the middle stamp is, or the one next to it to the left. All you can see that grayish tinge. The one on the extreme left, well, is anybody's guess, but I have my suspicions, as I do with the two on the right. They just don't look right. On the other hand, it is noteworthy that German cut squares have typically no listing in the catalog except those that were authorized by the post office. Germany, Franco-Prussian War, reprint issue of 1870 with network points down. On the next page, I will have a little bit larger view, but Maybe you can see it on here too. The points are facing down. There's two varieties or two versions, points down and points up. If these were the real thing, the catalog value would be substantial, very substantial. 4 digits. This set, however, as a reprint set, it's complete. And actually, the gum looks really, really good, convincing, like it could be the real thing. Unfortunately, they're not. And in vintage condition, they catalog about $20. So not too bad. But when I first seen these on that stock card, kind of got a little excited, as we sometimes do. Nothing unusual about that. But then, a little disappointment, but not really. They are reprints, but very clean on the back too. Just really, really nice, and really crackly gum. I mean, yeah, I've never seen reprints in this condition. Okay, here we go again, but I don't think the scans show any better. But another thing I wanted to point out is, first of all, originals have a perforation of 13¾ by 14¼ The reprints have a perforation of 13¾ by 14½. And the fakes, yes, they do have a perforation of 13½ or 13¼ That means either one of these all around, all 4 sides. Some catalogs do not sometimes give quarter fractions of perforation. Why that is, I don't know. But the German specialized catalog that I'm using, they are very detailed also in the perforation measurements. And these are directly out of that information. Okay, reprints. There are various ways to determine reprints and forgeries. Perforation, as I just explained, is one way. For reprints, you can place a straight edge diagonally from inside corner to opposite inside corner diagonally. If it cuts the vertical stem of the letter, then it is a reprint. No questions about that. Here you can see maybe that part a little better. Here is the P, downstroke of the P, and the diagonal cuts directly through the vertical part of the P. If it were to cut through any part of the base, right here, then that indicates it is an original issue. So be very careful and check it closely if confronted with buying such stamps, perhaps in a stamp shop or stamp show. Oh, here's another one. Yeah. Okay, I blew it up again. I didn't even realize I did it again and again. But anyways, here it is. You can see the diagonal cutting through the vertical part of the P, and here again, yeah. And I don't know if it's visible on your screen, but you can see the points facing down. Yes. There's also a reprint set of points facing up. Now that one, strangely enough, contrary to the original issues, is the better of the two types of reprints. In fact, the catalog only shows a dash, so no real price has been established. But if you have such stamps, I'd hang on to them until there's a way to figure out what the value might be. And here is another one that kind of caught my attention. Yes, amongst a few other items on the two stock cards, or 2 pages of the stock card, one also got my attention. And this one is Germany, Bavaria, a telephone ticket of 1894, even with margins. Yes, sometimes that can happen. And I always enjoy having margins on stamps or similar items. For used with a 2003 catalog value, this one catalogs about $100. And there are 22 different such tickets. You cannot really call it a telephone card because it is paper that is similar, maybe a smidge thicker than stamp paper, and it is watermarked, such as Bavarian stamps, with a vertical, equally spaced zigzag pattern. So, anyways, 22 different such tickets were used between the years of 1883 and 1894, with varying differences and up to 4-digit values. And that typically holds true for the first 2 issues of these types of telephone tickets. So if you see this, be sure and not get rid of it too quickly, because the one I have here is one of the lesser valued ones. There are a couple more that are like 60 and 90 dollars, but most of them are higher than this one here. Well, I hope you enjoyed a little of my video, and hopefully give me a thumbs up and perhaps click on the subscribe button. Thank you so very much. I'm always grateful for you watching my videos and putting such nice comments into the comment section below. Thank you so much. Yes, as we just witnessed, we can find at times, yes, stamp lots with many fakes, forgeries, and so on, but usually in between there is this and that stamp that attracts our attention. That's where we place our bid, and that's where we enjoy the hobby when they come out in good condition and a reasonable catalog value. Yes, I know we cannot always come out ahead. Sometimes we make decisions that go the other direction, but that is not uncommon. It's not abnormal. So we'll just put up with that and just keep on going and hoping the next time it will be better. My channel, Stamp Space, My Fun Things.